first. So let's read it again. You're driving on a straight level highway, 50 miles an hour.
61.
No vehicles in front of you. Suddenly a tire blows out in the vehicle. What do you do first? They're not telling you what tire. We're going to go under the pretenses that it's a front tire. Because you may blow a rear tire, not even know why. You got duals. You may not change the movement of the vehicle that much for you to notice unless you were in your mirrors and have to see it happen. You know, a lot of guys just lose retreads, rear tires all the time, they don't even know it. You know, that's why they're all over the road. But let's say, for instance, that this is a front tire. So, what are you going to eliminate? Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. What else?
You eliminate them.
You get rid of these. 2, 3, and 4 out. We're not doing any of this. Right? No braking. No. First things first. If you blow a tire, what do? Don't look at the brake. Don't even look at the brake. Foot off the gas. Hold on and stay off the brake until the vehicle slows down. What do we say our magic number is for slow down? What do we want the vehicle to slow down to? 20. At 20, we can start to decide to make maneuvers off the road. But until then, do not try to, you're at 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, don't be trying to make any maneuvers. You want to let that vehicle come to 20, and then you got a better chance, especially now that the tire is blown off the rim. It's a catastrophic situation, so you want to start light braking after you're below 20 and then get off the rim. So number one. Pretty simple, right? All right, 6.2. Which is a good thing to remember when crossing or entering traffic with a heavy vehicle. So this could be you're at the top of the ramp at Route 40, Ring Road right there, trying to get on the beltway. So a good thing to remember when crossing and entering traffic with a heavy vehicle. Again, what are we going to eliminate? Stick to your procedure here. Again, this will make it much easier for you. So eliminate 4. So you said number 3, absolutely. Number 4, absolutely. What else? You do this here, you're high. 2. You don't smoke the fatty doing this, right? That's what it costs to pull vehicle far away across the road, lock one leg. You can't do that. So 2, 3, and 4 are out. Very simply, you need a larger gap to be able to get into traffic. You can't just stomp on the gas pedal like you're in your little Nissan Sentra and jump right out in traffic. You need time to build power, so larger gap. Questions? All right, then. 63. Which of these statements about staying alert to drive is true? Which of these statements about staying alert to drive is true? Again, you're going to get a few of these questions out of 50 related to alcohol, drowsiness. So again, what are we eliminating? Number 1 is that. What's next? Number 2's out. Yeah, there are drugs that can overcome being tired, cocaine and all that. Yeah, you can't do it anymore. Right? What else? Yeah, so remember we said sometimes there's more than one right answer, or an answer that could be reasonably right. There's nothing really wrong with this. I wouldn't recommend if let's say your log time ran out, you're out of hours, driving hours. Technically, you cannot supersede that. If you've ran 10 hours, you need to pull over. Now, does that mean you can pull over on 695 at the Carterville exit and go to sleep? I wouldn't recommend it. I'd go to a truck stop. However, this is not the best answer. What's the answer? Sleep is the only thing that can overcome fatigue. So if you're what we call a sleep debt, you owe a debt. Your debt is to sleep because you owe sleep debt. You're tired, your body's telling you you're tired, you manage to get off the road like you're supposed to, just make sure you get off in a good area, truck stop, not the side of the road, and then get some sleep. So 3 and 4 are technically good, but they want you to know, first and foremost, that sleep is where it's at. You gotta make sure you're getting your time. Alright? Questions? Again, pretty straightforward stuff. Okay. Which of these is a good thing to remember about using mirrors? Which of these is a good thing to remember about using mirrors? So we talked about some things with mirrors yesterday. Anybody remember what I said was a bad thing? Well, that's coming, that too. But what about, say it again? What is that called? Begins with a T. Target fixation, right? So if you're fixating in a mirror for any length of time, you've taken your attention off the road in front of you. This is a problem more common than you may think. So this is out then, right? Because you should not be looking for several seconds in the same mirror. You can't. You're not, you get to staring or fixating. It's a problem. Number 2, convex mirrors make things look larger and closer than they really are. I don't expect you to know this yet because I haven't trained you on mirrors. But convex is smaller and farther away. Smaller and farther, not larger and closer. Smaller and farther. So let me ask you this. In your car, what does it say in the passenger side mirror for the Tiger Ride? What does it say? Objects what? Closer than they are, right? It's exactly the opposite for us. Smaller and farther, not this. This is more targeting cars. All right, so what else could you eliminate here before we get to the answer? Yeah, this is not practical. I'm not saying it says you should check your mirrors twice for a lane change. It's a no-brainer. We're going to say that that's an okay right answer. It's just not the right answer. The right answer is right there. There are blind spots your mirrors cannot show you. No matter how many mirrors we got, you still got blind spots. You're not going to be able to pick up certain vehicles if you allow them in. We'll get into that. We're going to do some whiteboard training for blind spots because some of them are pretty significant. I'll train you like they train the fighter pilots with blind spots, how to know when somebody's on your 6, especially in a turn, because you can be blind to them. You could have somebody on your 6. You could have a whole line of traffic on your 6, which is what? Behind you, in a turn, and you not see that one. And as soon as you come out of the turn into a straightaway, there they are. We'll go over that. All right, so down there, any questions on that? So again, mirrors are your friend. Just don't abuse the privilege of staring at them. And again, don't take it wrong, ladies. If we're going down the road, guys. We're no girls. Girl can do the same thing. And you're staring in the mirror, I'm a guy, and I'm looking at the girl behind me eating this banana. If I'm staring in the mirror too long, I close the gap in front, and the next thing you know, I ran into the guy because my attention is fixated now behind me, which should be in front. Again, this happens quite a bit. 65. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. You're checking your steering and exhaust systems on pre-trip. Which of these problems, if found, should be fixed before the vehicle is driven? You're checking your steering and exhaust on pre-trip, so you're actually doing your inspection. If you find any of these problems, which one should be fixed before the vehicle is driven? So remember yesterday I told you about your steering wheel plane? Right, there it is. Yeah. Steering wheel plane of more than 10 degrees, which is equivalent to 2 inches on a 20-inch steering wheel. So you've got a big steering wheel. Right? Leaks in the exhaust, real bad, right? Especially in the wintertime. You're going to go Betty by and never wake up again. If you have exhaust leaks, especially in the winter with the windows rolled up and the heat on. You know, the only CO2, the only warning you'll get is a slight headache before you pass out. And then, what about this here? A small power steering leak. So, keep in mind, what are we doing here?
Pre-trip.
Right, so the vehicle's not running. It's not moving, put it that way, right? So
you can have so you can pre-trip it with it running?
you can at different stages.
All right,
So we're going to say, for the sake of argument, that we're on the outside just looking around.
It's not starting.
And we see a leak, power steering fluid. So if it's a small leak, a small drip with the vehicle off, what happens when you turn the vehicle on?
Really?
That small leak becomes what we call high pressure leak. So now you're pumping power steering fluid out. So commercially, you have got to understand we cannot have any infractions driving because it all is a safety thing. Everything I'm teaching you is all about safety because they won't allow it, DOT won't allow it, and you're going to get popped for it. They're going to find the shit out of you and say, you should have pre-tripped your vehicle better. All right? Right? So, all these are an issue, right? These are all got to be fixed before you can pull out of that driveway. And I would say the most important one would be here, especially in the winter months, because you don't want exhaust leaks. We'll get into how to detect those. Anybody got to detect the exhaust leak visually, looking at it? How do you detect the exhaust leak looking at it? If the vehicle's running, you got your vehicle running, and you take your head down on the side of your truck underneath and look at the pipe, how do you tell if you got a leak?
Like smoke, like the little kind of smoke a little bit.
You may see some smoke where it shouldn't be, but what we're looking for is a black soot trail. So if you see a soot trail that goes, let's say where you're at is the motor, but then way down here on the pipe, down the exhaust, you got exhaust pipe all the way up there, but down here, from here to here, you got this big soot trail. Well, that means that the leak is somewhere up here. This is downstream, this is upstream. So you got a soot trail about 2 feet long. The leak is up here somewhere, right? And that's how you tell it. All right, so and 66. All right, so remember I told you we're gonna train you on hydraulic brakes as well. Man, we got some big. We should have seen it.
Stomping out roaches.
Scared to death. we had a and they were flying too. We had one that was in here. I'm not shitting you. It was about that big. He must have been the breeder or something. Yeah, I ain't worried about them crickets. I said, the flies and the damn big ass cockroaches. All right, so some of you may have had this happen in your cars. Your vehicle's got hydraulic brakes, which means you got brake fluid. We don't have that in commercial vehicles that not these because they are air brakes, right? So we're talking about hydraulic here. So while traveling on the level road, you press the brake pedal and find out it goes to the floor. Have I ever had this happen in trucks or cars? You press the pedal, and it goes to the floor. So which of these would be true? Your vehicle's got hydraulic brakes, travel on level road, press the pedal, and it goes to the floor. Which of these statements is true? So right off the bat, what are you going to eliminate?
1 and 2.
Say again.
1 and 2.
Well, you got a headphone, right? So 1 is definitely out. You should not doubt it. You got an automatic. Has nothing to do with this.
So can we eliminate 3?
You can eliminate 3.
Okay.
So if you eliminate 1 and 3, we're eliminating 4 as well, which means number 2 is the answer. You can pump hydraulic brakes and get the pressure up enough to get off the road. If your pedal went to the floor, it means you lost hydraulic fluid in the line. If you pump the pedal a couple times, I usually say 3 times, you may get pressure enough to stop the vehicle and get off the road. But that's it. After that, you're gonna lose the fluid again. You're gonna pump it, you're gonna discharge it, and it's usually after the second time, it's it. Right? So number 2 would be your answer. If I get this, so if you're in your car, you got get in there, you're going down the road, the pedal goes to the floor, don't panic. Pump the pedal like 2 or 3 times, the pedal will come back up, and then immediately get off the road, because the leak still exists. You gotta acknowledge it. If the pedal went to the floor, it went to the floor for a reason, which means you gotta hold something. But if you pump that pedal real quick, now this is only with hydraulic, you cannot pump air brakes. I'll make sure I drive that home, because once you get outside, you'll see. Cannot, when you pump air brakes, you're losing your reservoir air pressure. I said, pretty straightforward. 67. You're checking your tires for pre-treatment. Awful lot of noise down there. So you're checking your tires for pre-treatment. Let's let them finish doing the chair.
It's a lot of noise, so it's hard.
Awful lot of noise going on down there. I think we had this question once before. That's another thing too you're going to notice. It's a cognitive behavior technique. You're going to see a question once, 10 questions later, you're going to see it again. And your mind will trigger on that, allow you to break the right answer forward. So if you're checking on tires for pre-trip inspection, which is statement is true. Again, you're checking pre-trip tires, which is true. So
2.
So what are we eliminating first? 1, 3, and 4, right? We've had this before. So there's your answer. We've had this before. So you already seen that. Very good. So as long as you don't have dispatch sizes, you can't have different sizes. You got different brands, but you can't have different sizes. You can't ride down the road with a lot of car. Number 2 is your answer. 68. All right, so this is for the first time we've been seeing this. This is a term that you're going to see quite a bit in air brakes called brake fade. What is brake fade? How does brake fade occur? Let me answer that.
From the leak.
We don't have it. Yeah, we got air brakes, so there's nothing to leak. You can leak air, but it's not going to fade the brakes. How do you fade brakes? We don't pump air brakes.
By holding them down, by holding the foot on the brake.
Right, which creates heat. We're looking for the heat valve, right? So brake fade is strictly, we're going to go right to the inside, can be caused by the brakes getting very hot. Now, this can happen by you braking long or overuse. What we call overuse of the brakes. If you're constantly like days like this, out there pounding the brake pedal, you're probably, because of all the way that these vehicles moving forward, every time you hit them brakes, they build heat up in there. I've had them sometimes where they're with cherry red like your shirt. And at that point, you got to get off the road. This next thing is the tires will catch fire after that. So, when you see a term like this with a double dot, they want to know what is the attribute or definition of that, not how to correct it. However, number 2 is a good answer. How do you correct it? By letting up when it breaks 1 to 2 seconds and reapplying. And I gave you your 3 brakes yesterday, right? Snub, stab, control. So which one is this? Which one is number 2?
Yeah.
Snub.
No.
1, 2, 3, release. 1, 2, 3, release. braking is your downhill procedure. This is where you're going to heat your brakes up and fade them. So if you do number 2 on the hill, you're more apt to not heat them up enough to fade them out. We'll go over this a lot more in air brakes, but for right now, this is just a heat related item, and there it is right there. And it's not a problem that only occurs in drum brakes. It occurs in all brakes. All right, so driving on a 2-lane road. Oncoming driver drifts in your lane. This is what happened to me on the road. Driver drifts in your lane, headed straight for you. Which of these is most often the best action to take? So you're driving on a straight 2-lane road, oncoming driver's coming in your lane, he's headed straight for you. Which of these is most often the best action?
3.
Absolutely 100%, unequivocally 3. All maneuvers must be to the right. So in that case, if the guy's coming at me, I'm going to steer right, which puts me in a T-bone effect, not good. I wait when he gets close, I counter steer, and he blows right by. That's what you do in these big vehicles, and that's what you do in your car to avoid getting panic will get you nothing but dead or get you injured. Because once you steer right, he's coming at the driver's side of your door, right? Because he's heading at you. You gotta wait until he gets close enough to counter steer so he'll blow by you and not hit you. Takes a little bit getting used to it. Believe it or not, muscle memory will allow you to make the right decision. Once you train on that, it's instinct. So when that happened to me on Golden Ring Road, I was all the way up almost to Philadelphia Road before the anger sat in, and I wanted to do a U-turn and go find it. But it happened so quick, and my instincts kicked in, I steered, counter steered. I didn't start getting angry until way up the road because I was focused on what I was doing running. Then I was like, you know what, I'm going to find this guy was killed. All right, so anyway, steer to the right. Number 17. All right. If your truck's overheating, what do you do?
Pull over.
So you're looking for true. Let's get rid of the junk here. What do you think you should not do here?
Keep one, number 1.
Number 1's out. I don't care if you go 20 miles a day and if you trip. You got to pull over for overheating. You're going to blow the motor. All right, what else?
23, I don't remember the radiator cap.
Say again?
Don't remember the radiator cap.
So I'm looking for what's not good. What we're going to eliminate.
4.
4 is definitely out. Antifreeze is needed all year round. What else? I'm trying to get you used to eliminating to come up with the answer.
2.
2's out. So 3 is your answer. 2 is out. You should never shut off the engine. You gotta shut it down. You gotta shut it down to allow it to cool. And you cannot open the radiator. That's what we're talking about. 3, you should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until it has cooled. Most of the time, your overflow reservoir is pressurized. Now, that particular vehicle out there, that reservoir is not a pressurized reservoir. So technically, you can open the cap if it's boiling hot like it is now. You could open it if it's not, the pressure won't blow up in your face and you might want to antifreeze. But I don't recommend it. I think agree. Cool down to a point where it's cool to the touch. Most of the time, you're still going to have pressure in there, but it's hot. All right, so number 3. All right, 71. Are you driving a heavy vehicle with a manual transmission, which means you're shifting gears? You have to stop the vehicle on the shoulder while driving. Doing an uphill grade. Which of these is a good rule to follow when putting it back in motion up the grade? So, you had to move off the road on a hill, going up and move to the shoulder. Now, you finish doing whatever you gotta do, and you're gonna go back to the road and go finish going up the mountain. How do you go back to that road? How do we do that?
2.
Very good. So if you're eliminating, again, I want you to stick to that, but you're right, that is the right answer. We're gonna go over the reason why that's the right answer. Well, what are you gonna eliminate? Let's stick
4.
both of these. Let the vehicle roll backwards. We never let the vehicle roll. Look, if you think being a runaway going forward is bad, try that shit going backwards. Not good. These two are out. This here, unprofessional driving, which means that's your answer number 2. Now, what do we do by using the parking brake to hold? When you pull over in a commercial vehicle, you got air brakes. All you do is come over here, pull the air brake, and now the truck is locked down, right? Get it out of gear, maybe go to neutral. If you're in an automatic, you're going to go to neutral. If you're in a clutch, you're going to go to neutral. And then you can turn the vehicle off if you want. You're done, you maybe had an emergency phone call. Okay, so now let's say you're in a clutch. You'll put it in neutral, push the clutch in, start the truck back up. First gear, right? As you're letting the clutch out and the truck goes like this because it's still being held by the parking brake, as it starts to lunge forward a little bit, you'll feel it move on it's moving on the parking brake but not moving the vehicle. It's just lunging. Then you go like this and you hop the parking brake and you'll go up the hill without rolling backwards. And that's the key to that. We'll go over that. We're going to go over that once you get outside. So again, if you're in an automatic, it's real easy. Parking brake is holding you. Put it in drive, right? Put it in drive. Left signal, make sure you're signaling, right? Got your foot on the gas. You're going to pop the accelerator, same time you pop the brake. Just like that, and then you go right up the hill. Again, your job's not to roll backwards. That's professional driving. Okay? So very good. Number 2. Again, most of your parking brakes in your cars will not hold you on the hill. They're made for a flat ground. Just so, what do you think the ratchet and the pull up in the middle, or the ones that you push your foot in your car? What do you think they're designed for? They're designed so you don't have the strain of the car on the transmission. So when you back into your parking spot at the end of the day, the first thing you should do is pull the emergency brake on and then turn the car off. That way the vehicle is on the emergency brake and not the transmission. Like my Jeep is a clutch at 6 speed. When I back in, I pull the emergency brake up. It's still in gear. I turn it off in gear. Boom, like that. That way it's on the emergency brake but I'm in gear. So there's no way the thing can move. It's different with commercial vehicles. You got air brakes, 2,000 pounds. Imagine somebody dropping 2,000 pounds on your foot. Ain't gonna happen.
Won't have no
Ain't gonna work for me. So that's 2,000 per wheel. Where do we get an air brake? You'll see. So when you pull that, you hear that whoosh. That's the air being dumped out of the system, and the springs can't be held back now, and they apply the brakes. Each wheel, 2,000 pounds. This is why I say, if you go down the Beltway and you're losing air, it's 60 your warning will go off. As it gets close to 40, you better have that vehicle stop. Or you'll be like I showed the Batman video yesterday.
The Batman video?
One. So I don't have any live videos of anybody surviving the air brake coming on at 50 miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
Except for the Dark Knight. That gives you an idea of what it would happen.
Mm.
Yeah. And all the way moving forward, once the air comes out of the system, the springs shove the brake pads to the drums, everything locks up and all the weight is just going to go. I don't want to be in the vehicle. Put it that way. I want to be in there. So we had a guy, I think I told you, the guy over Old Town on my sneakers, asked me, he said, can I go down the straightaway to get out of the loop? And we're over Old Town Hall. And I go down, there's nobody there. I go down there, pull that air brake just to see what it's like. And I'm like, dude, you know what? You go right ahead. Just let me get the fuck off the I'm calling no foul. Because whatever happens to you, that's what you do. If you're really that curious to see what's going to happen, you go right ahead and do it. Because it's not pretty. I got one more video. It's similar to that. Look, it's great. Yeah, it's a great video. Great one of my favorite movies. But that's what happens, even in a cartoony kind of effect. Yeah, so just to give you an idea. All right, 72. Which of these is a good thing to do when steering to avoid a crash? So now you're in a situation where you're following a guy, maybe another truck, his back door opens up, here comes all these boxes, you know, boxes of Fruit Loops, who knows, right? What are you going to do here? First off, what are we eliminating? Oh my God, you do this, you're going to die. Right? So that's out. Oh my God, there's no one-handed. No, man, you better have a firm grip. So that's out.
3.
Hey Charlie, what question they on?
Hmm?
What question they on?
72.
Dang. Out of 100?
At 100 on this one. Yeah. On this particular.
That's for the state test, right?
Hmm?
That's for the state test, right?
Correct. So, Charles, you said 3.
Yeah.
We're not eliminating 3. I'm talking about elimination.
No, I'm saying 3 is the answer.
3 is the answer. So you're eliminating. We never want to avoid counter steering. Why? Because it's the only way to recorrect your mistake. If I'm going down the road following this guy and his door, all these boxes, I'm going to steer. This is not finished. I got to counter steer back around in my line of sight. So we're never going to avoid that. So this is out, that's out, that's out. So I want to talk about this a second. It says, don't turn any more than needed to clear what's in your way. You can't be ripping on that steering wheel like that. Remember I mentioned, for every inch you turn on the steering wheel inside when you're sitting in the seat, how much are the wheels moving? Did I give you this ratio yesterday? I know I gave it to the PO. Did I give you gear ratio? So if I'm sitting in the seat and I don't have any backlash in my steering wheel, which means no play. Remember we said no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees or you're out. So if I have 2 inches of play, which means 2 inches of play and the wheels aren't moving at all, that's unacceptable. You got to get in control. If I move my steering wheel 1 inch inside, how much are the wheels moving? 10 inches. So it's a 10 to 1 gearbox, 10 to 1. You'll get some crazy numbers if you do this, Mark. Google. What's the average gear ratio between the steering wheel and the front wheels commercially? Yeah, like I said, steering ratio, sometimes called the steering gear ratio, is the ratio of how many degrees the steering wheels turn to how many degrees the front wheels turn. In general, the steering gear ratio for most commercial vehicles, including trucks, falls within the range of 16 to 1 to 27 to 1. Well, I'm going to call bullshit. because there is absolutely no, I don't know who came up with that, it's wrong, right? Trust me. That means if I turn the wheel, if I turn my steering wheel 1 inch, the wheels are moving 27 inches. There's no way. So I don't know where to come up with that. Again, 10 to 1 is your average, you know, and you gotta understand, in order to get around corners with that, how long these vehicles are, you gotta have that kind of movement. If not, you'd be going like this.
Back up, back
I
up.
want to be able, that's why this is a great statement. Only turn when you need. So if I'm turning a 90-degree turn, 1, 2 moves and I'm around here. Because the wheels are gonna move. They're not moving 27 inches or even 16 to be honest. I don't know where they come up with this. I was always kind of shocked with it. And you go down and it's 3 to 1. See, they're all over the place. You know, how bad is your job you gotta be before you get fired? Yeah, so
Let me ask you this. You remember that video we see yesterday where the man got his trailer hooked up to, is that worth getting fired for? All right, so you know how your trailer, you go, your distance is too short and you try to go and you hit and tear down all the signs and shit. That's worth getting fired for?
Well, it's a clearance sign, and you should already know
you should already know. Again, this happens.
Oh, I was just talking about the video that we saw. You feel me? I was talking about the video that we saw.
Did I show you a clearance video?
No, yeah, we saw yesterday, and the sign, the man, the thing was, I think I don't know the terminology, but the thing was in the back of the trailer. It was hooked up on that. All I asked was, do they look at that as worth to get fired, or do you?
Well, yeah, because you're out. The two things are happening there. You haven't used trucker navigation. You haven't used trucker navigation,
Right.
or you're not paying attention to the signs.
Right.
So it's your fault regardless.
It's, right, there's your fault, but
You know, if it's your truck, you're coming out of pocket for fixing the trailer. Most of the time when you hit them, especially, I'll show you. Most times, you ruin the trailer. You have to get the trailer.
right. Some shit is more excusable than others.
Yesterday. It's more than one?
Huh?
It's more than one bathroom?
No, we only can use that one back there. Oh, you must be a lucky
There's
person.
no bathroom down there.
Yeah, it's
They
too
took me
bad.
to that blue bathroom right there.
What blue bathroom?
Them 2 blue bathrooms, that's right there.
That's small movements on the steering wheel. You don't need to wrestle with these 20 steering wheels. You're going to get around everything you need to know very easily. 73. Checking your wheels and rims. Wheels and rims are metal. Tires are rubber. Wheels and rims are metal. Tires are rubber. So this is your metal rims. What's these statements that is true? Which of these statements is true? So first, what are we getting rid of? What is false?
Crack rim rims.
2 is out, 3 is out. And 4 is out. 2, 3, and 4 are out. Number 1 is your answer. Now let me explain this to you. Cluster and wheel knob nuts mean they are loose. Your lug nuts, where they meet the rim, big metal lug nuts. If there's no rust around the back where it meets the rim, they're fine. If you have a rust trail around the back where the lug nut touches the rim, it's loose. It's not loose by hand, but it's loose. You gotta get a breaking ball in there or impact on it. Tighten. Alright? Alright, so. This is similar to a question we had before. You don't have a hazmat endorsement on your commercial license. You're just a regular commercial driver with no hazmat. You're asked to deliver, you got some scumbag orders that will ask you, it's only right down the street. What do you gotta do if you're asked to deliver hazmats in a placard vehicle?
Eliminate number 2.
Unequivocally, number 1. Refuse to haul the load. All the rest and probably the county gives you this, it's good, but you'll never drive again. They'll take your CDL for life. All right, so any of the other ones here are terrible, okay? If you're teamed up with a guy, he's got the endorsement, but you don't, and you drive it anyway, it's the same thing. You're still gonna get a heavy fine, you're gonna take your CDL and send it away. All right, so don't do it. 75? All right, again, you're gonna get these alcohol questions. What do we say was the number one answer for alcohol? Judgment and self-control. And there it is, number 3. All right, so the drinker more clearly sees how alcohol is affecting him or her, hell no. Number 1's out. Number 2, the effects of alcohol decrease, they do not. And then number 4, the drinker can sober up in less time. You have no concept of that at all. It's like eating mushrooms, man. Once you eat them, it's too late, baby. You gotta wait till you gotta wait till that shit wears off. Super Bowl Sunday, 1983. I ate a quarter ounce of psilocybin mushroom. And I was telling my buddy, man, these ain't good. I'm sitting down the whole time watching the game, drinking Heinekens. I'm in my 20s. 23 was that. I said, give me a little more. He gave me another quarter ounce. So after a couple more beers, I had to go to the bathroom. As soon as I stood up and walked in the bathroom, by the time I got back to my seat, I was tripping my ass off. Because it was all caught up in my upper extremities when I stood up. And once it's in your system, it has to wear off. My wife walked around for 4 hours. Every step I would take, my legs would go into the sidewalk, up to my knees. I could feel the suction as I'm doing all it. Yeah, bad. So you can't, once alcohol's in your system, it's absorbed, but time is the only thing, that's the one thing you can get. Time is the other thing you can pick. Time to wait until it wears off. So now you're up for a number. All right, so number 3 is always going to be your answer most of the time. 76. All right, so this is another situation where you got to leave the road. So like the door opened up, here come the boxes, and you have to make a maneuver to get off the road. How should you do that? You need to leave the road in that direction. How do you do it?
3.
Okay, so 3's your answer. So you would have eliminated everything else, right?
Right.
So number 1, what about number 1? If you're going to get off the road, you better get off the road. You don't want to be half on and half off. Somebody hit you, right? My views are, you're going to hear different opinions about this. Leave two wheels on the pavement so you can get back on the road. If you're going to get off the road, you get off the road. Get all the wheels off the pavement. Number 2 is out. Number 4, avoid the shoulder because both shoulders won't support the largest vehicle. You're not going to fall through the earth. It's a shoulder, right? So they're trying to trick you. So number 3 is your answer. That's our magic number. However, number 1 is also correct. It's just not what they want you to think. So, yep.
Try to get all the wheels on the feet.
Yeah, so if I'm moving off from the finish road to the shoulder, I want to get all the way off the road and not leave one wheel up on that. Especially if it's an unfinished shoulder. A lot of these roads don't have finished shoulders. So you want to get all the wheels off. So now you're going to be leaning, you're out in the road, somebody's going to hit you. I mean, look, they hit state troopers all the time. And they're off the road. They're off the road, but they're not. Some people, they get distracted and their vehicles drift, and then they hit you. All right, so number 3, 76. 97. All right, so very simple question. You should stop driving. You should stop driving.
Number 4.
Like, there's no time, there's no numbers,
Yeah.
no hours. If you're sleepy, you're sleepy. Get the hell off the road. Because all you're gonna do is, you want to kill yourself, somebody else. Very, very simple. All right, number 78. All right, so this is another version of a left-hand turn. We had a left-hand turn once. For this item, refer to the figure. You're driving a long vehicle that makes wide turns. You want to turn left from Pine onto Cedar. Both are two-lane, two-way streets. You should. So you're here. I want to go from Pine to Cedar. These are two-lane, two-way. How am I making that turn?
Go out to the middle.
So what? First thing first, what are we eliminating?
The right.
This is out. It's too
Yeah.
quick. Your shallow cut when your turn, this is out. All right?
Eliminate 2.
Eliminate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. You want to go halfway through there.
So we'll leave that alone. Begin the turn when your vehicle is in the left lane of Pine Street.
Oh, okay.
You're high. You smoke something. A dipper, or maybe, I don't know. You're high. 4.
Right into the lane. Yeah.
1,
2.
3, and 4 out. This is your answer. You want to be halfway. So if I'm here, I want to go here, right where my finger is, and then start to turn. So I finish in the right lane smooth. I'm away from everybody. So you're going to get this question on the test, by the way. Look for left-hand turns are started halfway in the intersection. That's the easy way. Very good way to do that. All right, questions on that? Again, lots more information than the main thing, but you all you'll put it all together in the back. We'll all have. All right, 789. Which of these statements about drugs is true? We've had this before, so this is a repeat. Which of these statements about drugs is true? So what are we going to get rid of? So 1, 2, and 4, yeah. Remember those? Try to remember those phrases I gave you. Any, only, except, not, true, and false. All change everything. This one's got any prescription. We can't take any. We definitely can't take amphetamines anymore. So number 3 is your answer. 1, 2, 4 is the
Use of drugs can lead to accidents or arrests. Answer 79.
Right. Ask your question. If you describe certain kind
Yeah, so no stimulant, no painkillers, no stimulants, no mood altering substances. Anything that can alter your mood in that fashion, you're out.
Sorry, sir.
Hey, what's up? You gotta watch coming in, an hour late. Normally, so we didn't go over this because it usually don't come off the line, but check in at 8:45, we start at 9. At 9:15, you can still stay, but you're marked late. 9:30, you gotta come back the next day. That was the rule that's in place. I try not to be, pretty easy guy. Just try to be mindful of that. All right, so questions on this? Everybody good? Number 8, almost there. You should avoid driving through deep holes with flowing water. But if you must, which of these steps can help your brakes on the work? So let me say this before we get into this. Driving through the water is one of the longest procedures I teach students because if you're not doing these in the correct order, when you come out the other side, you're not going to have brakes. They're going to not be good. All right, so looking at what we just said, you're driving through puddles flowing water, but if you must, which of these steps can help brakes work. What are you gonna get? Yeah, you're not necessarily driving through quickly. We're gonna hold on to that for a second. All right, what else? There's no such thing as brake heaters, and you wouldn't turn one on and get the water anyway. Right? So that's just crazy. So 1-4 round, what else?
Three.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, coming out of the water.
Right? So here's how you want to approach puddles. As I'm going, if I know I've been down this road before, it's flooded out. You know, in big trucks, you go right through this. But you got procedure. Low gear, I got to downshift, raise the RPMs up. I'm going to put my foot lightly on the brake and lightly on the gas at the same time. Raise the RPM even higher, hold the brake down. Power through the water, not necessarily quickly, but quick enough. Power through the water, holding the brake. As I come up out of the water on the other side, I continue to hold to dry the brakes out. It's the only time we use heat to dry